Welcome back to the Tiger Gamer Hangar. This is Mike, coming at you with the vintage G1 Powerdashers. We're going to talk about each one of these and talk about their modern representations. Yes, I would like to see these made in Masterpiece, probably by X-Transbots. Would be a whole lot of fun. A lot more complex, but we're going to take a look at these. We're going to transform them. We're going to look at both modes. We're going to see what's the feature. Why are they Powerdashers? They were Melloways. How did you mellow away for them back in the day? And this is coming on the heels, I guess, pretty much right before we do the last Omnibot, and they're all in the same vein. But I hope you enjoy this. Hope you get a little something out of it. A lot of fun. I had fun collecting these. They're not very expensive, so that's part of the fun. Let's look at the G1 Powerdashers coming up. I want to start out showing the order form. Now, it's the Powerdasher here, and the Powerdasher section. So it's the same order form that you would use to order the Omnibots, and they don't like to stand up very well back there. But my understanding is that you just ordered one Powerdasher, and you paid your 2 points, your $3, and you got one of the three. You didn't just get which one was pictured there, as opposed to, if I can get this focused in here, you could see that you got to select which Omnibot you got. This was all purely random. I did do a video showing all of my vintage G1 paperwork. This was in it. Like, there's a lot of these in it. But, yeah, that's how you ordered it back in the day. Here's the scale comparison next to Optimus Prime. For obvious reason, this is actually the missing link Optimus Prime, so you get the idea of scale. So, they're, I don't know, slightly smaller than Carbots. And if I can pull this off, next to, obviously, a reason I got Screwhead here for a GoBot. And as you can see, is it really Screwhead the name? I think so. I've got to check that back, but you can see the scale, bigger than a GoBot, smaller than a Carbot. And I believe everybody would agree that Optimus Prime is the best measuring stick for a Transformer, especially G1. Because G1 Optimus Prime, it's actually a G2 Optimus Prime. I don't think there's much of a difference. But you can see that's how they fit in all mode. We're going to start with the first one, Drill Dasher. That is what Transformers Land calls it, so I'm going to go with that and roll with that. Now, Hasbro made their version, and they called it Zetar, and that one is a cool, nice recolor reimagination, and it's got a drill on the head, so it's real easy to know that that's what they intended to make, and it is kind of fun to get these redone. Actually, I had more fun with the Hasbro ones. Those made me want to chase down the vintage ones. Then we get into, and I'm just going to put this side by side here, because obviously this is the GoBot that I feel like matches up to it the most. And you can see it's much smaller, and you can see they were going for two different things. Transformations are completely different, or they're actually in a way similar and inverted, same time. But let's get him out of the way. Let's take a look at whatever you want to call him, Zetar or Drill Dasher. Now, a couple of fun things about him is you can see that there's a sticker for his face in there. And then he's got vac metal right here. And I take it these parts are either vac metal or just really metallically painted on the sides here. So these parts I think were originally vac metal, but some of the vac metal is worn over the years. Worn from non-use. Just kidding. I bet kids play with them. These are super loose right here. It's not a screw, it's a pin. You could probably get some, not even a pin. You could probably get some stuff to put in there to tighten up the joints. I don't really care that much. I'm not going to pose them, but they just kind of flop on mine. The elbows are still pretty nice and tight, but I think the elbows have screws that could be tightened, maybe. But with that, he's got decals here, which mostly show in the alt mode, and the back of them is very clean. He cleans up real well from the back. One of the problems with this bot mode, hey, it says Takara on it, which is nice. One of the problems is looking at the feet. They look like they're backwards, but they're not, because that's how they go up top. This is like something you would have thought that they would have flipped around so he could have actual feet in the front, but it more acts like a heel spur on this figure. You do see early waffling from the early days. We got waffling from the early days, which they didn't do so much back in G1 because those weren't designed to save a fraction of a cent per figure like they do nowadays. They charge you a ridiculous amount, but save a fraction of a cent per figure with the waffling. Here is the alt mode. It is a drill. This one is a little bit more worn, which is why this is not my bot. This is definitely not my bot mode one, but it does look pretty nice, pretty fun. The decals are actually a little more worn on this one too. So you don't see the decals in the alt mode. You see the decals, these side decals, they're covered up in the alt mode. But he still has his Autobot sign there. Now there's rubber tires on these wheels. Now what does this do? It's a Power Dasher. It dashes really fast. It just doesn't have the strength to pull the weight of it, but there's the drill. A drill does not turn, does not spin, does not have that effect, but you see kind of like what looks to be sort of some treads, some stuff there, but it's really a wheel. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4 wheels, all 4 wheels on it. Now let's get this guy transformed up. We'll transform him up, and then we'll untransform him down. You bring the legs down to transform them. Now these ones are actually pretty tight. Tight legs, tight on the legs. Then you lift up the arms, fold them down, lift the head up, and you got him in his bot mode. And that's it. Simplistic, fun. This one is Zetar or Drill. Let's get to the next one. All right, next one we have, if we can get it all in focus here. This one's shorter. So let's bring it down to its level. This was either F1 Dasher or Aragon. And that's the Hasbro version of it, at least my understanding of it. And you can see the similarities and differences between the two. But yeah, it's an interesting take. They just kind of recolored a different figure to pull it off, but at least they tried. At least they gave us something that we could call the Powerdashers, and that's cool. But of course, it was a very deceptive maneuver because you had to get it from a 3-pack that only was sold at Target. It was a Target exclusive, my understanding, and it was like 60 or 70 bucks. And I got it just so I could complete the set, but I wanted to keep them in the package. But then again, we're gonna do with the other 2 in the set. But still, glad they gave it to us. So let's take a look at the figure himself, and he does look kind of interesting. He's got a chrome head, and he's got some what looks to be a sticker in there to make up the rest of his face. All that chrome is going to glare on the camera. He's got some decals on the sides here, which translate over into the alt mode really well. He has movable hands that could go like sideways. The arms go out, and that's it. No more articulation of that. He does have some front and back articulation because of the transformation, and we did see a little bit of articulation in this guy, which I guess I could say he had, at least this guy had knees, as to where this one doesn't have knees, but they weren't really intended for that. But it was kind of like a secondary thing because of the fact that the transformation, a little bit of movement in the feet there. Got chrome everywhere. We took chrome for granted, vac metal for granted back in the day, and his little symbol is inside there. But we've got the alt mode, which kind of surprising. I can't find a way. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you can turn his head. Yes, you can turn his head. So I got that wrong. You can turn his head in alt mode, so you don't see his head. It looks like, possibly looks like an engine block right there. And then some vac metal for the feet, which make a vac metal spoiler, which is a real weird looking spoiler. I mean, the least spoiler looking spoiler that I've ever seen. The least spoiler. So the decals on the side look nice. You've got the rubber tires there. You got more tires here, and some detail right here that's on the legs. It's going to translate over when it transforms. Oh, that one rolled really nice. Maybe I revved it up right. So let's try it again. No, don't lift it. All right, try again. Yeah, well, it does pretty good. Now the transformation on this is super simple. You're going to just fold his legs down, fold his arms down, fold his hands out, flip his head around, and you've got him in his bot mode. And I think the best way to display any Transformer is actually to have both versions displayed. Although I don't do that myself all the time, but it's fun in this case to have 2. And since they're cheap enough, you can do it, they're cheap enough. This is the F1 Dasher or Aragon. Lastly, but definitely not leastly, we've got Sky or Chromar. So Sky Dasher is what we see on TF Land, Transformers Land, and Chromar is what Hasbro decided to name their version. Now in this one, my bot mode has the more wear on the chrome. Put my nicer one in alt mode because I think that that's like your eye's drawn to that in alt mode. But then again, now your eye's drawn to the wear and tear, just the way it is. But a pretty good looking figure overall. Very little. He's got weird side to side articulation. His feet are so tiny, just really tiny. It's troubling to get him to stand. In my display, it's not a big deal because he can just fall back and hit the wall. It's not going to hurt anything. And if he falls forward, there's other figures in front of it to keep him from falling forward. So it's not a big deal. But standing on this table is a big deal. He does have looks like a clown face. Like he literally looks like he's got a clown face. If I get any closer, it's just going to like glare. And then one little sticker here. I think looking at both of them, there are stickers on the legs that you see when it transforms. So some transformation stickers that you're going to see here in a bit when we see the transformation and all that. And yeah, that's about all we got going on for him. Kind of looks like, yeah, he does kind of look like a clown. Yep. Then over here, let's see it roll. Ooh, that one rolls nicely. Real nicely. So we got beautiful vac metal on the arms, beautiful vac metal on the wings. He turns into a jet. So, I mean, he's a rolling jet. It's okay. We pretended jets were actually flying when they were rolling on the ground. That's just the way it was. His legs turn into the side engines and stuff like that. Nice pretending and all of that good stuff. What else is there to see? Look at the labels, the decals on the sides. This is fun. Wonder how X-Transbots will do it if they ever make one of these. Let's transform this. So let's just fold the legs down. That's what the legs do in downward folding mode. And then fold the arms down. And there it is. That's the whole transformation. As far as I know. And so with that, this is the last and final one. It is Sky Dasher or Chromar, if I got that right. Hope you enjoyed this look at Powerdashers, which feel more like GoBots than Transformers, but are still kind of fun, and they're still pretty cheap to get today, and I'm really glad to add them to my collection and to showcase them in a Retro Wednesday video. But what do you guys think about these? Do you just look at them as cheap mellow age junk that should have never happened, or a very fun part of history from the 80s in the Transformers? Let me know what you think on this wonderful Retro Wednesday. Hope everybody's staying warm and staying out of accidents. Like and subscribe. Have you ever hang around?